Jim Cramer just dropped a massive bombshell as it relates to Palantir stock. I want to talk about what exactly it means for Palantir stock. But first, if you're new here, thank you for being here. I'm Austin. I'm a co-owner of cloud6week.com. I'm a stock market investor, and most importantly for this video, I'm a shareholder of Palantir and have been for quite a few years now, and I'm very much a proud shareholder. The channel's sitting at like 550 subscribers, somewhere around there. I don't know where it'll be when we post this video. If you're one of those 550 people, thank you so much. If you're not one of those 550 people, click that subscribe button, and as a thank you for doing that, here's a picture of both my cats, Millie and Luna. Millie's the gray one, Luna's the brown one. They thank you for subscribing. Okay, let's get into this. So just recently, Jim Cramer of CNBC said something crazy about Palantir, which it gets even crazier when you realize what he said just a few months ago. So Palantir is an amazing company. I've been buying this company for a long time. They're at the cross sections of data and artificial intelligence. They work a ton with the US government, and they're building out their commercial business in a massive way. If you want to see all the reasons to buy Palantir right now, go ahead and check out this video on my channel right here. But what Jim Cramer recently said about Palantir is that he remains a buyer of Palantir. And you might not think that's a big deal, but this is a very big deal because just a few short months ago, he said he's not even sure if Palantir is even a real company, and he would stay away from Palantir and he would not touch shares of it. And now all of a sudden we have 130% plus run up in the share price. And guess what? Jim Cramer is now on the boat of Palantir, just trying to ride the momentum. So this kind of highlights the psychology around a lot of people and how they view the stock market. It's not just your average everyday person that views the stock market this way. It's someone who's been on CNBC for years with their show Mad Money. I think there's like 19 seasons of this. This guy has been around the block. He is no stranger to the stock market, and he still views stocks in this way. When Palantir was down and out, but the company fundamentals were getting better and better and better quarter in and quarter out. Yes, their growth rates were dropping a little bit, but the company fundamentals in every category except for specific revenue growth rates was getting better and better and better. And now we've seen 2 quarters in a row of GAAP profits. That's generally accepted accounting principles. That's the holy grail of profits in the stock market. We've seen 2 quarters in a row, and they said, hey, we're going to be profitable for pretty much every quarter from here on out, barring some kind of crazy black swan event. As a result of that, the possible S&P 500 inclusion coming within the next 3 to 5 quarters and the big hype cycle we've had with AI, we've seen an insane run up in the share price of Palantir, and now it's catching everyone's eye. Everyone wants a piece of this company. So if you're investing in an unprofitable company, you got to understand there's going to be a lot of risk and there's going to be a lot of hate in the company, because an unprofitable company is way more risky than a profitable company. Once a company turns to profit, tons of investors are now able to buy it because they feel so much more comfortable in a profitable company, and I don't blame them at all. But if you're in a company that's just on the edge of profitability and you see a very clear path forward for them to get to profitability, if you can get in around the time that they're going to flip that profitability switch from GAAP losses to GAAP profits, you're going to be a huge beneficiary, and the share price is going to rise very nicely for you, because stocks go where earnings go over time. If earnings stay negative, a stock is either going to stay flat or go down. If earnings are increasing quarter after quarter, and ideally net income increases more than revenue, you're going to get a very nice share appreciation over time. So let's not forget that stocks go where earnings go over the long term. In the short term, anything can happen, but over the long term, it's going to track very, very, very well with earnings. So what I think probably happened when Jim Cramer said, I don't even know if Palantir's a real company, was that he didn't even know anything about the company. He just saw that they have losses on the bottom line, and he went ahead and threw them in trash with all the other unprofitable software companies that might not ever become profitable. In Jim Cramer's defense, this guy gets thrown so many stocks on a daily basis that there's no way he has the time to actually dive really, really, really deep into the company financials, the company's products, to see what their moat is. To kind of wrap your head around the business takes multiple weeks, if not months sometimes, with a company like Palantir. I researched Palantir for quite a few months before I ever decided to buy my first share of Palantir. Does Jim Cramer have months and months to research companies? No, he can't research every single company in the stock market because people ask him about every single stock that exists. So in his defense, to see an unprofitable software company, I think he just kind of threw it in the trash in his head, and he thought, well, that's never something I can touch. And now that they've come to GAAP profitability, he's now interested in the stock. He went ahead and did a little bit of research work, and it seems like he opened a position, and he's a buyer, and he's going to be a buyer for a long time. what does this mean for Palantir and what does this mean for Palantir shareholders? To be honest, I think it means literally nothing. It's just an indicator that this guy now sees that there's profits for Palantir, so he's a shareholder. We could sit here and make fun of him all day because he didn't get in before this massive run up. But if we all think that Palantir is going to be $100+ stock over the years, to get in at $15 is really not that different than to get in at $10 or to get in at $8. He's still going to make insane money if Palantir is going to the places that we all think Palantir is going to over the coming years. So I'm not hating on Jim Cramer. I don't think it was the best idea for him to say, I'm not even sure if it's a real company, I'm not going to touch it. And it's a little bit silly that he went from that extreme all the way to I'm a buyer and I'm going to continue to be a buyer. But what we can learn from this is that money follows profits. We want to be in profitable companies. We want to be in companies that have amazing balance sheets, just like Palantir does. And we want to be in free cash flow positive companies. Palantir's free cash flow positive. Palantir has an insanely amazing balance sheet. And now Palantir has those profits, and they're probably going to be on track for index inclusion, most likely the S&P 500 over the next 3 to 5 quarters. I can't wait to see that play out. And it's just going to be more and more money flooding into Palantir and more people giving respect to the company because now they've flipped to profits. All in all, I'm glad Jim Cramer is now a Palantir shareholder because he's going to be on this ride with us, and I hope he's going to get some nice price appreciation just like we do. So let me know what you're doing with your Palantir shares. Are you holding? Are you selling? Are you buying? Are you shorting? Do you think Palantir is the best company in the world? Do you think it's trash? Do you think it's not even a real company like Jim Cramer used to say? Let me know. I want to hear about it. Thanks for stopping by. Have an amazing day.